Hi, it's Kraz, the new beekeeper guy. I'm dressed up because I've had a long day of adulting and doing stuff that I have to do to make money to beekeep. And apparently, I'm looking at my front door and my beekeeping supplies have arrived. So, welcome to this unboxing edition of my new beekeeper stuff on this episode of the new beekeeper guy.
I'm the new beekeeper guy.
Oh boy, there it is. The big old box. Do not use blades to open. All right. Woohoo! New beekeeper stuff from Man Lake. Box is a little damaged, but let's see if the stuff inside traveled well. Well, I got it inside, didn't I, Leaf? What's in the box, dude? Let's check it out. My suit, a large Provent suit from Man Lake Guarantee. Let's see what that is. It's like Christmas time. So we got a suit. We got a queen excluder. Looks like it should go on your air conditioning, but really that's a queen excluder that keeps the queen bee from going up into the honey supers, and it lets the worker bees climb up through there because it's just big enough for the worker bees to get through, but the queen bee, the honey bee, can't get through. The queen bee can't get through. Oh, more boxes. This is going to take two hands, I'm afraid. Look at that. We got 1, 2, 3 big boxes and 3 little boxes. I'll show you what they are in a sec. Ooh, this is one of the boxes, the supers. This is the unassembled one. I bought one of these so I can see what it takes to assemble one of these boxes. So this is an unassembled medium-sized 8-frame super. It's a lot of words to say, but it means it's a bee box that has 8 frames in it, and it's unassembled. I'll put this together later. Now I'm going to take all these boxes and get them out on the floor. So far, all the boxes look like they're in pretty good condition. That's good. They seem to travel well with from Man Lake. Only took a couple days to get here, and they came by FedEx. I'm just so excited. I can't wait. I think these are my already assembled Hive boxes. They're medium 8-frame Hive boxes. There's 3 of those, and I got a top board and a bottom board in these boxes. I think that's what they are. I think that's what they are. Opening these up. These are the 8-frame supers, but they really have room for 9 frames. There's extra room in here for, seems like another frame would get in here, or we can just space them out a little wider. But it does seem like there's a lot of room in these 8-frame supers. They're painted white. Looks like they could probably use another coat of paint on them. They have got the handles screwed into, they're wrapped in plastic. So there you go, they'll stack on top of each other. Now I'll look at the top board. What do you think, Leaf? Okay, so this is the inner top cover. That's gonna fit on top of my boxes. Some people say they use that and some people don't use that. And here's my top cover. It's got metal on it. It's got like it's called telescoping. It fits over the top of it. All right, beautiful and shiny. Cool. And this is the bottom board. It has got instructions. This one is called the Varroa trap with drawer. Bottom board comes with the entrance reducer. That's what it's called. This is called an entrance reducer. It reduces the amount of space in the entrance that they come in. So instead of a big entrance way, you can reduce it to that size. Or if you turn it this way, it reduces it to that size. And it's got a screen on it. So after I took off my business suit, I painted the exterior of the supers, the medium supers. I used a latex paint. You only want to do the outsides, don't paint the insides, and don't get it on the top or the bottom. But that should protect it for a while from the elements, and it'll be pretty. All right, so I've been doing some hive maintenance. I painted those boxes, and they're waiting for the bees to be strong enough to be moved in there. And so right now we're going to do an inspection of the nuke box. Thank you to Matthew Townsend from the South Brevard Beekeepers who loaned me his nuke box, his 5-frame nuke box, and where the bees transported from. Thanks again, Matthew. And we're going to go in there and see what kind of condition the hive is in and whether they're ready to be moved into those hive boxes that I painted and get going on the regular size boxes. I think it's still a little bit early, but we're going to go in there and check it out and see what we've got going on in there. I've added a feeder on the top. It's got some sugar water. It's brown because I use organic brown sugar, but bees seem happy, and we'll see what that looks like and what it does later. Alright, I'm going to try to make some ant traps or ant barriers for my cinder blocks that are holding up my beehives underneath the pallet. So this will be big enough for a cinder block to fit on top like a cap on a cinder block, and then I will use a sticky adhesive in here or grease, a thick grease, to keep the ants from crawling back up and around to the top of my pallet. We'll give that a try. So as you can see, I placed those pans here, and on the inside of the pans is the sticky. I found a sticky bait trap stuff material that is made specifically for ants, but you could probably use one of those forever tacky adhesives to work as well. So that's what I put on there, and that's what we got as an ant barrier. The girls are doing pretty good. Some red pollen coming in. Oh, some nice colored pollen. Gonna check the frames a little bit later. This is the stuff that I got. Tangle Trap. Sticky coating. It works naturally. Oh, it's called Tanglefoot. Yeah, I've heard about that. I also got a grease. I didn't use it. I didn't want the smell of grease by my beehive. If the ants get worse and this Tanglefoot sticky trap doesn't work, then I'll use grease. But in the meantime, I think I got myself covered with those cinder block caps. We're gonna get in the hives for the first time, doing a little hive inspection now that I got my bees, and we're gonna see what we got going and whether this nuke is ready to go into a regular 8-frame medium box. So thanks, Stefan's my cameraman, and I appreciate it. Okay, give him a little bit of smoke, chill him out a little bit. Gonna take the feeder top off. I'm gonna just pull this off. There's the bees already on here, having some honey, or having some sugar water. Plenty of bees. We're looking for the queen, we're looking for mites, we're looking for beetles. Everything looks good on the top so far. Coming to the back around here. Now if you look, we got a hive here. It's got lots of bees between the frame here and between here, and a couple between here, but this frame doesn't look like a lot's going on. We're gonna see what we can find in here. I'm loosening it up because they put propolis, which is real sticky. This is also full of nectar, I think, from my I put a nectar. This frame is pretty heavy. All right, so on this side, we've got capped, this is capped honey for them to use. And other than that capped honey, it doesn't look like there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. This got nothing done on it. That's just drawn comb. So I'm gonna set this guy out for a second, and there's no queen on there. Just gonna set this frame off to the side. Alright. Pulling this frame up. This also has honey, but a lot of nectar. If you can see that this is capped honey, but there's gooey nectar, probably from the sugar water that I gave the other day. And not a whole lot of activity on this frame, but some capped honey and a little bit of nectar. Still not ready to move. There's still just only a couple of frames going on that they're working. I guess I could move it up, but let's see what we got here. Okay, so that's full of nectar. That's got some pollen in it maybe, but that's just pure nectar. Yep, pure nectar, no brood, which is not a good sign. The bees are in an okay mood. They're not too upset with me. Smoke them a little bit more, but again, not a lot going on in the brood department. Now these frames look like they may be active with rearing. Okay, so I'm checking the frame for the queen. I don't see the queen anywhere yet. Some pollen here. There are some brood. These capped cells right here, that is brood, but there's not a lot. And I don't see any eggs. I see some larvae. If you look real close in there, you could see some larvae. There's little maggoty looking things in there. That's larvae. And that does have some larvae on there, so that's good, but not a whole bunch. Some honey in these frames, and again some nectar, but not a lot of brood. Okay. And hopefully on this frame we'll see much more brood and maybe even the queen. Yeah, she's on here. There's a lot of bees on this frame. There's the queen right there. So you got a red dot on her back. Do you see it? That is the queen right there. And this is good because there's a lot of brood right here. A lot of brood that she's laying. And this has got a lot of brood too. So she's laying. It probably is still a little premature to move it into a bigger box yet. But everybody seems pretty happy with what's going on. Queen's in there, larva, brood. I didn't see eggs, but she's got to be laying eggs. And as you see, I've got no gloves on and they're being very nice to me. Putting the frames back in nice and gentle so we don't gush anybody. Try not to leave too much bee space. Too much bee space and they draw some wild comb. Okay. I am going to put the top back on. And probably give them some more nectar.
You gonna squish those?
No, they will move if I go slow enough. everybody behaved pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna put this on the top for right now. Until I can fill this back up with some sugar water. Now my ant protection will keep us from getting ants. I put my ant caps on, and I think that's going to be pretty cool from keeping the ants from getting into anything. But I'm going to feed them some more. There's plenty, there's nectar and there's honey and there's brood, but she's not really laying more than the first 2 frames. So don't know, takes a while for them to get acclimated and for that turnover to happen. And so as this starts to grow and becomes a more confident and happy nuke, then I'll be able to switch it to a bigger box. But I think it's still a little early for that. So that was my first hive inspection. We'll see you later.
This has been the new Beekeeper Guy.
Please think about subscribing to my channel and giving me any advice or comments that you may have in the comment section. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. Appreciate it.
I'm entirely too overdressed to be doing this right now. But look, I've got these already assembled hive boxes. They're hives. They're medium super. I'm being attacked.